Well, hi, my name is Ron.
And my name is LaShawn.
Welcome back to Marriage Moments. Wow, we've been having an incredible couple of weeks in that emotional affair.
Oh my, yes. But this week we wanted to come to you with some solutions to help. I mean, you heard his side, her side, and it can happen to anybody if you're left open and vulnerable. So we wanted to give you at least 3 steps to begin with in order to recover for your relationship or your marriage to recover from an emotional affair.
Yep. And also for those that just tuning in, be sure to check out those 2 so you get better understanding of the emotional affair, which we talked about, which was very good. So we're going to give solutions.
Yeah.
We're going to give some answers. We're going to give some good stuff.
So the first step to recovering from an emotional affair, number 1, is it has to be exposed. It needs to be talked about thoroughly, without blaming, without condemning, really just trying to get to the root of why this happened.
So what I hear you saying is that I need to be open. Let's say for an example, so if I was going through it, so I shouldn't have kept it on to myself. I should be open and willing to expose it to you without feeling bad.
Not just without feeling bad. I think there needs to be some level of repentance and humility, when sharing that. Because, if you came to me and say, yeah, because you didn't have sex with me. See, that's why I'm talking to such and such on Facebook. That is not an attitude of humility, and that's going to get us in more trouble than it would be helping us, right? Because then you're blaming me instead of taking ownership or responsibility. But I think coming to me and sharing with me your struggles, just as a struggle, right, would hurt my feelings, but you can't manage my emotions. It will hurt my feelings. I can feel anger. I can feel sadness. I can feel grief. I can feel whatever, attitude, irritated or whatever. But the end game should be to repair that relationship. And the Bible tells us that, that the purpose of going to your brother or sister is to repair the relationship.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think I'm getting a clearer understanding. So those times when I was having the emotional affair and I was looking at the girl with the real big boobs and I was coming back and imagining them on you. So it would have been better for me to tell you like, hey, babe, when I looked at you, I was seeing somebody else. Is that what I hear you saying clearly that I should have done without the fear of me being put down?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So my responsibility in that is to make the atmosphere safe for you to come to me.
Okay. That sounds
Once
good.
again, and safety is not a prejudging or pigeonholing or saying that I can't be upset. I have a right to be upset.
Okay.
But being open and honest and still being accepting of maybe something I don't want to hear.
Okay. So to make it clear, just really being open and transparent.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Right. Because we already talked about what happens when you keep it to yourself.
Just can't keep it to myself. Yeah. And what's the second one?
The second one is setting boundaries. If you have been here once, twice, 3 times or whatever, I think it is important that you and your spouse both come up with some boundaries. Realistic boundaries and ways to repair. Like we said before, I'm sorry is not good enough when there's betrayal. Because you can't regroup, you can't recoup that time and the things that were stolen from your relationship, the intimacy or whatever. So I think setting boundaries is going to be really important. Some things we should do to some things we should not do.
Okay, let's keep it on the real tip because people probably asking, well, what is a boundary? Because everybody's boundaries are different. I could say don't cross this invisible force field, in this spot. So let's give a clear definition.
Okay, so for example, you going out to lunch with women alone. If that's how the emotional affair started or the conversation started, that should be a no-no. It just should be a no-no without somebody else present, without covering you, because who's to say next week we're falling out every day and I'm not liking you very much, and you go out to lunch with a coworker or something like that can leave you open and vulnerable, and the opportunity for an emotional affair to happen again is humongous.
Okay, so now since the audience got a clear understanding of this boundary, simply what it means is it's not they micromanaging your life.
Right.
But what it is, they putting safety measures there so you won't fall back into it.
And it should be done as a team.
Yeah. Well, it should be. It should be. And that's where even as couples, even type of relationships, you should have somebody where you can actually go to and confide in. Because, it's just being safe, especially for the both of us. The Bible says he gives a way of escape.
He really does.
That way of escape, we have to utilize those things, set boundaries, and especially for the men. Now, it's important for men to set these boundaries because we think we're strong, we think we're macho, we think we all that. But straight up bottom line, Bible talks about them strange women.
Yeah.
So when they come along, it's going to be kind of hard. So we got to set some type of boundary.
Yeah.
We got to set some type of wall in order to move forward.
Right. And nowadays, a lot of this stuff happens virtually. So, coming off of Facebook for a while, limiting your friends list, having your spouse have your passwords and vice versa. I know it seems a little bit rough because we still believe sometimes that we demand privacy and all that kind of stuff. But as a couple, at the end
There's
of the day,
no privacy, bottom line.
And at the
Straight
end
up.
of the day and the beginning of the day, you should be one. And you should be trying to protect your marriage and your family. Anybody outside of your marriage and your family, I'm sorry, it's kind of like collateral damage as far as I'm concerned.
It really is. And our third point was,
Forgiveness.
woo,
I mean, really, because if you want to save your marriage and you want to renew your fellowship, your intimacy, your friendship, all that's contained in that marriage before the emotional betrayal or emotional affair, forgiveness is key.
So forgiveness quick. Forgive quick.
If you want to save your relationship, I mean, we've dealt with couples, and like we expressed to you guys, we went through that. We've both dealt with emotional affairs, and one of the things that we had to make a decision on is forgiving one another.
And not holding the carrot over their head all the time. That's usually, let me just talk a tiny little bit about that. When you say you forgive, mean that you forgive. You can't be going around bringing it up later saying, well, you did such and such, or you did this. You had an emotional affair. You done wiped everything out of the box, And it's best that when you forgive is to go ahead and release it. Now, for these people saying to forgive and forget, it's going to be some scars just like a sore.
Hello.
Yeah.
And you're not going to forget. And I don't think you should forget, because if you forget, then you're going to forget your boundaries, right?
Exactly.
You're going to forget what's important. So you don't want to forget, but you have to release your spouse of the debt that you feel that they owe you. And if you have realistic boundaries in place, you can start rebuilding the trust. Now, that doesn't happen immediately. It takes time to do that.
But it does take time.
Mm-hmm.
But some people tend to hold on a little bit longer and use that as their false power.
Yeah, and that's not cool, because that destroys the relationship.
Yeah, and it totally does. It really destroys. And, and we're saying these things, to help you out to move through the emotional affairs. A lot of people get stuck and they still want to keep holding that person in prison. And it's never been our job to, we got to learn to move forward in
actually,
things.
who's really in prison?
It's really you. Because think about it, that person going home and sleeping. They turning over. They're going to work every day. You looking at them at the back of their head like you have heat vision, like you want to try to burn a hole in their head.
And if you keep that distance, if you keep that wedge, you're only going to grow further apart.
Yeah,
So.
And there's no need hiding it. So release it. Your best bet is to release it, let it go, reform, and recalculate. That's all.
At the end of the day, there are 3 important things that you should do. There could be a list of 10 things more. But to keep this short, number 1, you have to confess and be open. Number 2, you must set some healthy boundaries. And number 3, you must forgive if you want to save your relationship.
Yes. So that's going to be all. That's it for this week. But we're just so happy. So we coming back strong. And don't forget to tune in to songsofsolomonri.com and be sure on our YouTube page.
SOS,
subscribe.
help my relationship.
Yep. Help. I need somebody.
Help.
I need somebody.
Or on Facebook at Songs of Solomon Relationship Institute. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good day.